Do you feel the constant noise of worry? Does your anxiety play in your head like a loudspeaker, repeating the same annoying worries over and over and over and over again, and you just can't turn it off and get any peace? While some concern about the future is healthy and helpful, when it overtakes our lives, it can become exhausting. Our worrying takes up all of our energy and drains us, and it puts us into some imaginary future that may or may not even happen, rather than being in the present and actually living our life. And the worst part is when we're worried about things that we can't even control necessarily. Because even though we might rationally know that there's nothing we can do about this or that it's very unlikely to happen, that bit of worry still's there and it wants to control and make sure everything is okay. And that becomes such a heavy pressure that can just prevent you from doing anything else other than constantly worrying and trying to solve that problem. And while worrying is a part of the human condition, there are some things you can do to minimize it and to turn that loud voice down. And in this video, I'll give you some practical strategies to help you cope with living with worry, especially about things that you can't control. This video was requested by a viewer who commented on a recent video. Thank you, you know who you are. If you would like to see a particular video topic, then do drop something down in the comments. I love to see what's going on and what topics really matter to you. It's those little more personal moments where we connect, even over the internet, that really make this worth doing for me. So, what can you do to learn to live with worrying about things that you can't control? Well, the first thing is to recognize that worrying is okay. Worrying is our mind's way of trying to protect us in the future from bad consequences. But if you struggle with your mental health, then that worrying can sometimes go overboard and not turn off when the problem is solved, or continue spiraling on about problems that are none of your business or that you can't even have any influence over. And the first thing to really do is to notice that worrying and notice that it is just there to protect you. So you can notice and go, that's me worrying. Thank you, worrying. But I don't want to think about that right now. Or, thank you, worrying, but I'm not dealing with that at the moment. I've got time and place in the future to deal with that. And even just taking this small step to create awareness and a little bit of space between you and the worrying, so you're not just caught up in it and going along, can make a big difference. And acknowledging that the worrying is there to protect you, it's an old coping mechanism. Your life is probably different now. You're capable, you're competent, you're an adult. But the worrying is still there. So thank it. And then remind it that you are going to take care of that, or that you can't worry about that because it's too much out of your control. And that being said, there are a lot of things that you can do practically to minimize it. And these can be split into two types. You've got your background strategies, which are just making sure you live a good life so that your mind and body are well and they're less susceptible to over worrying. And there are some active coping strategies that you can also take. If we start by looking at some of the background strategies, the most important one is looking after yourself. Are you eating well? Are you drinking enough water? Are you sleeping well? Are you looking after your basic needs? When we don't look after ourselves, our minds can really go and fall into those anxiety traps, and we can start worrying all over the place. And because we're not regulated within our bodies, it's even more difficult to regulate our emotions. So make sure that you are actually looking after yourself to give yourself the best fighting chance if the worry monster pops up. Likewise, if you know something triggers you, minimize that. Maybe it's the news, maybe it's a parent or a friend, or maybe it's some kind of activity that you do. Like for me, if I look at houses, I feel bad. It just completely triggers me. This taught me what being triggered meant. It just absolutely knocks off my whole day. And so I can never look at houses. I just can't. And then another thing you can do is just give yourself a little bit of space for life to catch up with you. If you can even grab 15 minutes before bed just to let the day wash over you, maybe you journal or you read or you pray or you just sit there in silence or you meditate, just let life catch up with you a little bit. And that will help the background processing of everything just flow through you more so you don't have to be so worried. Now looking at the active strategies, I've already said noticing, but it bears repeating. The most important thing you can do to learn to cope with worrying is by noticing it. Because when you notice the worrying, you gain some power over it. Because it's no longer controlling you unconsciously. You notice, I'm worrying. And even just that is brilliant. And you can then feel how you feel about that. Maybe you're pissed off that you're worrying. I don't want to be worrying anymore. Stop worrying. Or maybe you're sad that you're worrying. Oh, actually, I really need a good cry right now. Or maybe you just think, I just wish I wasn't worrying right now. So you say, worrying, I have already dealt with that. Go away. And you just push it away. And you might need to do that a lot of times, especially if something's really, really there. You might have to do that a lot of times. And you might also need to distract yourself by doing things. Now, you've got to be really careful here because distracting yourself and not facing the worry will only make it worse. But if you are temporarily distracting yourself because you have a plan later to deal with the worry or to face the worry, that is okay. Sometimes we do just need to push through things even if we're worried. And that facing the worry ultimately is one of the best strategies that you can take. If it is something that you're worried about, whether it's something you can control or not, you've got to face it, you've got to own it, you've got to lean into it. Because when you're actively facing away from something, it is victimizing you. Whereas when you lean into it, you have some degree of power, even if you're totally powerless over it, because you're in it, you're with it, you're not resisting it. One very helpful way of doing this is just writing out a list of everything you're worried about. When we get stuck in our heads as worriedy, anxiousy people, it all just goes up there. But actually getting it out, speaking it out, writing it out, even talking about it with a safe person can do wonders with coping with it. And if there are things on that list that you can practically deal with, write down all the things you're going to do. It it seems like such a obvious and easy thing, but it's the resistance to doing this I find is immense. But when I actually do, it is immediate how much better I feel. And for those things that you can't control, there really is only one solution. You have to surrender it. Like, really, really think about this. You cannot control it. You cannot control what the president is going to do, or whether there's going to be a war or a pandemic, or something's going to happen to your family or to your health. You cannot control that. And so any time spent worrying about it, other than the necessary preparations that you are able to do should a worst case scenario happens, is a waste. It is a waste. You are not protecting yourself by worrying about it and constantly spiraling about it. You are hurting yourself. And maybe you feel like you need to cling to it, so you're ready and you're prepared. No, you are hurting yourself. And the only way to truly cope with things that you cannot control is to surrender them. And what do you surrender them to? A higher power. It can be God, it can be the universe, it can be spirit, it can just be this notion of a higher power. Whatever works for you. But you have to surrender. And surrender comes from humility. It is arrogance that keeps us trying to control things we cannot control. And that arrogance is what hurts us. You have to surrender. And you can surrender by saying, God, please take this off of me. It's too much. I cannot carry this anymore. You can kneel and pray. You can lie on your back like a dead tortoise. Do whatever you need to do to humble yourself before a power greater than you and let go and trust. And do this as often and as much as you need. It is the only way you're ever going to be able to cope with the worrying that you have about things that you can't control, because you can't control it. So you have to surrender it. And as you do this process, you will learn that a higher power does exist. And it works however it works. It works through unexpected places, at unexpected times, through unexpected people. But it works. And it's there for you. And it can help you trust that whatever is happening is all right. And it's all right for you. And the more you surrender to your higher power, the less you will worry. And the more space that will create within you to actually go and take action on the things you can control and the things that do matter to you. And it's just a wonderfully freeing feeling when you have let go of something and truly sent it off into the universe to be dealt with. It's really hard. It can take a lot of constant practice, but it's the only way I have found to truly let go of all of my worrying. Obviously, I still worry, and worrying is helpful, as I said, but for those big topics that I can't do anything about, let it go, surrender it. I'll end with a quick recap. Worrying is a part of the human condition. There will always be things you worry about, and there will always be things out of your control that you worry about. Your job is to notice it and not let it dominate you. You are to lean into it and to regulate yourself and to own it. Take action where you can to help. Notice it. Interject those thoughts. Make sure you're looking after your health and your well-being and your sleep. And for the things that you can't control, surrender them. Open yourself to a higher power and surrender them. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, then please hit like and subscribe to see more content like this. Take care, and I will see you again soon.